neta, fuck.
Now, some big news I saw the other day. You posted on your social media. Virgil Ortiz posted on his social media that Virgil's back at RGBA. Me and you have had private conversations in the past. I've talked to you like, man, dude, I hope Virgil comes back to RGBA. And I got the vibes that you kind of miss Virgil. You know, you didn't like that he left. You didn't like him not being at the gym. Now that he's back and you're going to help him with his next fight, January 6th, what is that like? Like y'all coming back together, and then what do you expect for Virgil in the future?
Look, I've always been a big believer in Virgil. You know, when he was with us, even when he left, you know, he went and he was with Manny Robles. Manny's my friend, and we talk a lot. We stay in touch and everything because you know we're in Southern California, so sometimes I need sparring partners. He needs sparring partners, so we work together. So I wasn't hating on Virgil being with Manny, but you know, Virgil's a great fighter, man. Plus, not only a great fighter, but he's a great person, a great kid.
You always kept telling me how much you like the kid. You're like, bro, I like Virgil great, so much, man.
That kid is great. He's a great kid, great person, great talent, obviously in boxing. I think the kid's a world champion. So now that he's back with us, I know that 2-3 fights from now he will be a world champion, and you know, and we'll get him to the world title. You know, I know there's been a few negative things in the last few fights. You know, training camps. You know, health problems, but I'm really positive that things are going to change around. That things are going to get better. We're gonna do really good. The kid is happy. He's training hard, sparring really good already. We got a few good sparring partners that are doing really good with him. It's just gonna be, you know, his first fight back January 7th. After that, man, I think next year he will fight for a title and he will become a champion.
This next fight's at 54. Do you plan to keep him at 54 or go up to 160, or what do you think the future is for Virgil?
You know what? I think it's already a signed contract for him to fight at 156. But me personally, and I already talked to Golden Boy Promotions and talked to his manager, that I would have, to his dad. Obviously, his dad is the main person that I talked to, and he agrees with me, and he said that that's what he wanted. But for some reason, they ended up doing it at 156. But I told him I would have loved the fight to be at 158, just, you know, in between both, just to see where he's at. But you know, we weighed him already, and he's not very heavy, so I think he'll have no problem making 156. And then from there, we'll make a decision if we stay at 154 to fight for the world title, or maybe even 160, because he's a big kid, big and strong. So
he was the biggest 47. People don't realize how big he was at 47.
He's big at 154. He'll probably be the biggest 154 pounder out there. I think he could actually compete at 160 with no problem also.
Who do you see is going to be the first big fight that Virgil gets? Because there's been rumors of maybe Terrence Crawford. You know, he was at 47. Boots Ennis. Virgil's always linked. That name is always linked with Boots. Who would you like for Virgil to fight first as a big fight?
If all those guys are still at 147, then there's no talk about it, because Virgil's not going to be is not going to
never going to make 47 again.
So at 154, look, we have Tsyzu. Tsyzu, who's a world champion,
okay.
And then we also have Charlo, who has the other 3 belts. So if Charlo decides to fight Crawford, you know, because that's a way bigger fight, and you know, he just much more money, then he's gonna do that, and we're gonna have to wait, maybe get a vacant title when he vacates or something, you know. But in the meantime, we just have to be ready fight by fight. Maybe, like I said, 1 or 2 fights, and he's gonna be ready for the world title. Hopefully it's one of the champions. I think it's better for a champion to become champion when you beat a champion than to get a vacant title. You know, I don't mind getting a vacant title, but you know, just the champion himself, you know, feels better if he beats a champion. So Charlo's a champion, and Tsyzu. So you know, whatever they're able to do, I know that Golden Boy is going to do their job and going to work hard to try to get him a title fight. Hopefully they do in the next 2 fights.
This guy, the next fight, I believe, is the guy's fight he's lost him. Do you feel like that's the plan? 1 or 2 fights? I don't want to say easy fights, but fights that you know Virgil can win to build him back up, you know, health-wise and emotional and spirit-wise?
Well, especially the first fight. We got to see the first fight, you know, see how he reacts in his first fight, see how he feels after that first fight, and go from there, you know. This is the first fight, January 6th, and everything, you know, the decision will be made after this.
I thought it was very interesting that you brought up Tsyzu, right? Tsyzu is very aggressive, likes to come forward. Not really. He's not gonna move around. You know what you're gonna get out of Tsyzu. Do you feel like that'd be the perfect fight for Virgil?
Tsyzu is a great fighter. I gotta respect him. I gotta respect what he's done, what he did in his last fight. I think he's fucking awesome. He looked really good, very strong. But Virgil's as strong, as good, or,
He's strong as
or
fuck,
even
man.
better. I'm telling you. You don't like people don't even know. People don't believe. I might say I'm bullshitting, but since Virgil's back and he's been back 1 week, my fucking elbows are fucking hurting. My son's arms are fucking tired and sore because doing mids with that kid is just something out of this world. He's just so strong. So I don't care how strong Sue is. I don't care how strong Charlo is. I don't care how any middleweight is. I know that Virgil's as strong or even stronger than those guys because he's just very, very strong. And I know he'll compete at 154 and eventually 160 because he's that big and that strong to be able to compete there.
Jermell Charlo, right? He didn't look good against Canelo, but obviously that's not his weight class. How would you feel about an all Texas showdown with Charlo and with Charlo and Virgil at 154?
Well, yeah, he's the champion, so yeah, that would be awesome. He didn't perform against Canelo. He went out there, fucking survive and get a huge fucking payday, which I don't blame him. Fuck shit, I probably would have done the same,
Same
if I got that opportunity. Fuck it, but at 154, shit, I would be a badass fight in Texas. Hell yeah, Cowboy Stadium, that would be huge.
Now, do you still feel like Virgil and Boots? Because Boots, he might not get a big fight at 147, and Crawford's talking about fighting at 54. Do you feel like Boots and Virgil, that's still maybe they're going to be their first big fight versus each other?
Eventually, it probably will because it's just a big.
Nobody
fight.
wants to fight either of them.
Exactly. So eventually they should, but it'll be, in the future, not now. Not now. Just make the fight be worth a lot more money and make them both world champions, make them both superstars, and eventually they will fight each other.
Are you open for, in let's say 6 months to a year, if Crawford can't fight, Crawford does fight at 54 and beat Charlo and becomes the champ, Crawford and Virgil, are you willing to take that fight?
Of course, why not? I'm telling you, the thing is that skills wise, people might think, Boots
Crawford's too good.
Crawford,
Yeah.
But when you have, how many times have we seen a underdog, that nobody knows, that nobody thinks has a chance. They're just in great shape. They're just, hit hard, take a great punch, and they have the condition that nobody believes. They just keep coming. And how many times have we seen them wear down the A side, the favorite, the guy,
The better
boxer, and they go out there and do the same. When you come in against Virgil, you gotta be ready for 12 fucking rounds because that kid is gonna
He's won every fight by knockout.
He's gonna come, keep coming, and it's gonna get worse as the rounds go by. The first few rounds, maybe we could tell the kid to go slow, start slow, time him, let's see what he's got. But as the rounds go by, it's just gonna get worse and worse. That's just the way Virgil is. I'm telling you, I'm not bullshitting. And I always said that kid is just. Has that aggressive style that people don't know. People don't know until they're inside the ring with him. It's just crazy the way Virgil is.
Leaving off, Robert, last thing I wanted to talk about, we got Benavidez versus Andrade next Saturday. A lot of people kind of underestimate David. They say things about David. He's a weight bully. He's only good because he's big for that size. You saw him as a 15-year-old kid sparring Kelly Pavlik when you had Pavlik.
Yes, I did.
Let the public know about Benavidez and what makes him good, what makes him scary.
You know what? That kid is. I still call him kid because I know him. He was coming to my gym since he was 15 and sparring with Kelly Pavlik. That just should say it all. That kid comes. When they come to my gym to spar, we have to have 5 or 6 guys lined up. Because 3 or 4 rounds, and that's all they could hang in there with him. And I gotta get in the next guy in because he goes 15 to 20 rounds sparring. So I know I've seen it, and he's unstoppable. I can't say he's unbeatable because anything could happen in boxing. And Andrade is a great fighter, great technical fighter, good speed, good footwork, good boxing skills. So it's gonna be an interesting fight. But Benavidez is one of those guys, just like I was saying about Virgil, that you gotta be so fucking good and so strong to be able to hang in there with fucking for 12 rounds, because you could win the first 10 rounds, but you still got two more, and that motherfucker's gonna keep coming.
A lot of people, they don't know about Benavidez. You said it, and because I've seen it myself in the gym, they don't know about his stamina, man. His stamina is crazy because he doesn't look like the kind of guy that would have a crazy stamina. You look at a guy like, I don't know, let's say Tim Bradley, right? A guy that has a badass body. Oh, that guy can fight all these rounds. Benavidez doesn't look like, he doesn't have the body that you would think like that.
But he's done it since he was a kid. He's doing it since he was 15, sparring guys like Kelly Pavlik. So
Triple G too, right?
Yeah, so that kid, so that he grew up doing that. He grew up doing so for him, 15 rounds, 12 rounds in a fight, it's nothing for him. Nothing.
Do you feel like back in the days, how they used to have the 15-round fights in the 80s? Do you feel like if they had 15-round fights today, that Benavidez would dominate way more?
He would be a perfect one for 15 rounds, definitely. No problem.
Benavidez Canelo, right? That's a fight that me and you talked about many times. All the public's talking about it. The Mexican public, Mexican American public. Is that the fight that we need?
Well, I would like to see it. I don't think, do we need it? Maybe we want to see it, but at this point, I think it's up to Canelo. If Canelo wants to do it for the fans, if he wants to do it for his people, if he wants to do it, then he doesn't have to. Canelo could say, I never want to fight him. He's still making $50 million a fight. He's still gonna become a billionaire because of all the investments he's doing back in Mexico, gas stations and everything. So he doesn't have to. He's at the point where he's the one that calls the shots. He's not chasing Benavidez. Benavidez has to chase him. And if Canelo says, I'll fight him, then the fight will happen. But if he says, I just don't feel like fighting him, Benavidez has to fight other people, and he has to do his own wins, his own fights on his own, and he's still gonna be great. He's still great. He's still making good money. But Canelo, it's up to Canelo. Whatever. I don't blame Canelo either, because he's at the point where he calls the shots. He doesn't have to please the world. He doesn't have to please the crowd. He's already done whatever he wants. He's already accomplished what maybe no Mexican has ever accomplished. So he doesn't have to prove nobody.
With Canelo, right? A lot of people, he has a lot of critics, right? Or a lot of people, they want to see him take these fights, myself included. Where
I would like to see it too.
Where you have guys like Eric Morales. Eric Morales fought Barrera, and then he fought Pacquiao in back-to-back fights. And with Canelo, it doesn't seem like we get that same kind of warrior spirit of the guys of before. Do you feel like him fighting Benavidez and he beats Benavidez, that can shut everyone up? Where we're like, yo, man, Canelo, he's bad.
I think with Canelo, I don't think that's why he doesn't have to do it, because nothing's gonna change. People just, I think Canelo's a great fighter. I think he's accomplished more than any Mexican has ever accomplished. But to the Mexican fans, he'll never be better than Chavez. He'll never be better than Marquez. He'll never be better than Morales or Barrera. Why? Because he's just a fighter that fights smart, is a businessman, and does what's best for him. He doesn't do it to go out there and please the fans. He doesn't go out there and get into wars where he gets dropped, he gets up and knocks his opponents out, or gets cut and goes through wars. He just doesn't do it. But business wise, he's the biggest Mexico has ever had.
But do you feel like him fighting Benavidez and him winning, what would that do for him though?
I don't think that would change. I don't think that would put him as
like David Falterson. Will that satisfy guys like him? His critics.
Nobody's ever gonna accept him or agree that he's better than Chavez. Never. No matter what. No matter if he beats Benavidez or he beats whoever is out, he's never gonna be better than Chavez to the Mexican fans. And I don't blame them either. I agree with that too, because Chavez is Chavez. It's like Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali.
No one's ever gonna be better than Muhammad Ali.
He had losses. Yeah. He lost fights. nobody's gonna be better than Muhammad Ali because that's Muhammad Ali. It's the same thing with Chavez. In Mexico, you're never gonna get somebody better than Chavez. Never. No matter what Canelo does, he's never gonna be better than Chavez. But if you look, business wise, titles, yeah, he's accomplished more. But in the Mexican fans, he's never gonna be better than Chavez.
Last question I want to leave off with. When they bring up guys like Benavidez for Canelo or John Ennis for Crawford, people say, well, what about the resume? Who have they beat? Do you feel like that's why they fight the fights? Like Benavidez doesn't have a good resume. Ennis doesn't have a good resume, but they're worthy challengers of Canelo and Crawford. Do you feel like people should stop talking about that when guys are young and let them get a chance to prove if they're... Because if Benavidez fights Canelo and wins, then we can say, oh, Benavidez is the Mexican monster. But then if he loses,
I think he already is. He's already proved it. He's already had some great wins, and he's going to do it in his next fight. And if everything goes well, he beats Andrade and dominates and knocks him out. Then he's already proving it. But he's just the only fight that's gonna really make him and people talk, as one of the big time greats, if he beats Canelo. But I don't know. I don't even know if that's ever gonna happen.
Do you feel like that's fair though? Like a guy like Boots not getting a shot with Crawford, or a guy like Benavidez not getting a shot with Canelo. Do you feel like that's fair to them, that the older fighters should give these young guys a shot to prove if they're real or not?
Well, I would love to see those fights, but no, it's not really. They don't have to. They have to do it on their own. Crawford did it himself. He's already a 3-division champion. He's an undisputed champion at welterweight. So all these Boots and all these younger guys, they have to do it just like Crawford did.
Build themselves up.
Exactly. Crawford, went through becoming a lightweight champion to a 140 pounder and then a 147 undisputed. He worked his ass off. They got to do the same. They can't just do it with one fight or one win. They got to work their ass off.
All right, Robert. It was a pleasure speaking with you today.